Hello, welcome to a special edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace. Alto saxophonist Donald Harrison came out during the 1980s during that wonderful, glorious Young Lions class with his sidekick trumpeter Terence Blanchard. Throughout the last 25 years, he's been hailed as the king of Nouveau swing, where he fuses his hard bop style along with hip-hop, soul, funk, R&B, and other traditional mainstream styles of music. Tonight you're going to witness some exclusive footage of him recording his latest album along with drummer Billy Cobham as well as bassist Ron Carter. This is your third outing with Ron and Billy, and I noticed that there is a lot of chemistry. It's like a continuation of the first time you guys started.
Yeah, it's amazing because we might not play together for a year, but it seems like they all remember where we left off, and we continue to grow as a group. And it really is a group sound, and I think, there's a lot of musical trust, I think, from all parties. And I think I'm the recipient, well, I know I'm the recipient of a lot of knowledge that those guys have, Billy and Ron, because they're some of the most cutting-edge musicians on the face of the planet right now, two of the most important musicians, and I get to be in the middle of them, and it's a great experience.
You know, it's interesting you say cutting edge because you're cutting edge also. You come from the cradle of the hotbed of music, not, besides New York, New Orleans. Tonight, you guys got into blues, you guys got into straight ahead jazz, and you did some experimental stuff out here tonight too. Yeah,
I mean, that's the key, is to take all the music and to put it into a form where it's moving the tradition forward, but to go through the tradition. These guys know so many different styles of music, and they also know most everything you can do with jazz. So then they have the knowledge to push it forward and to experiment with all these different aspects. So that's what's going on. Sort of like stepping off a cliff and learning that you can fly.
It's interesting because it seems like tonight I've seen you, you came out in that glorious time of the Young Lions during the 80s, but you closed out with a song that you wrote with Art Blakey, and you're playing it with these deans of jazz. How did that feel?
Well, it's a little different way we're doing it now, but it's fun to play one of the old songs that I wrote and to hear it in its cutting edge fashion, and it gives me different ideas to do on it because Ron interjects thoughts that are pushing the envelope, and so does Billy's. So it's a whole nother scene, Art Blakey was swinging it and pushing it, and he also taught me so much, but now at 50, I'm the baby of the band, and I'm still in the same situation, learning from two maestros.
Let's talk about your nickname, the King of Nouveau Swing. Now, you are taking a little bit of the past, what's current right now, and you're moving forward in the future. That stems from your origins of New Orleans.
Yeah, Nouveau Swing is a unique concept that we came up with, but it comes from me having experience in New Orleans, where I realized that the music that I was dancing to in clubs, because I'm of a different generation, and I grew up dancing to Michael Jackson and all the other R&B and funk bands of the day. So I heard where I could merge those two things together, hip-hop with Duke Ellington and Art Blakey. So it's really swing music mixed with dance music. So it was everything that I like put together into one sound. And someone in France says that's Nouveau Swing, which means new swing, because it's swinging, but it's funky too. So I sort of like the word Nouveau Swing, and we said we're playing Nouveau Swing music.
Your father had a lot to do with you also getting into jazz music. Explain the origins of some of the different elements of jazz, because you have West Indian, you have French. I mean, there's a whole vernacular of food, music, dance, and religion all in one melting pot called New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans is a city that was at one point the place where everyone came to, and it was the biggest port in the world at one time. So everything that came, most of the things that came in America came through New Orleans, to go up the rivers, various rivers, and be distributed. So people came from America to New Orleans, from all over America to New Orleans, and from all over the world, and they all got together. And we had this great mixture, and a lot of the music that we call American music was formulated there. And one of the other unique aspects of New Orleans is the only place where Africans were allowed to drum openly every Sunday in a place that we now call Congo Square, but it was called Congo Place at one time. And those traditions are still alive, and I am a big chief of that tradition. And I actually have some pieces I've been working on for my what we call suit of costume for Mardi Gras, because we come out on Mardi Gras. My father was a big chief, so I learned those rhythms, and that is a thing. That is the root of my music, and it's the root of actually a lot of American music.
Now that's also coming from the origins of West India also. I mean, the whole outfits, the uniforms, the beads, and the dancing, that's all part of the whole musical vernacular too.
Well, yeah, New Orleans I consider the northernmost West Indian city. But all of these places, from Cuba to Puerto Rico and Haiti and Brazil, they have a heavy African influence. And you can taste it in the food and the way the people talk and the way they sing and the culture and traditions. And most of these places actually have old tradition that survives over years, because we're talking things that are, some of them over 200 or 300 years old, that are still thriving today. So one of the only places in the northern hemisphere, Americas, where you have this old culture that keeps surviving and people know it, you know.
Well, one of the things that appeals to me is he doesn't sound like he's from New Orleans, which is not a pejorative statement, but you know, they bring a sound, the New Orleans players bring a sound to the bandstand. And Donald was the first saxophone player who I first knew who doesn't have that kind of sound. Clearly he's influenced by Charlie Parker and Sonny Stitt, to name just the two ones that I heard this afternoon. But he brings another breath of fresh air to the saxophone. And the fresher he brings, the air he brings to the saxophone, the more choices I have. Play a different set of notes to make it to go somewhere else.
He's unique based on, in his performance, based on his foundation. His historical foundation, his personality, his society, where he was born, how he was brought up, how he functioned. That and the experiences that he's had to date all make up the personality of Donald Harrison. Okay, and that makes that personality of Donald Harrison unique in comparison to other musicians who play the same instrument. No one can duplicate that because they haven't had his experiences, you know, just to begin with. And so therefore, whatever he has experienced in life is reflected in the way that he approaches performing in music. And that's why Donald's unique.
one of your now famous partnerships is the HBO series Treme, and David Simon approached you to contribute to not only the show but also musically. And I interviewed the Rebirth Brass Band a couple months ago, and they're part of that also. Tell me how David came to you with the concept of the show, and what is your take on the television show and where New Orleans is right now as a city and as a people?
Well, the television show, I think, is a great thing. Treme is the name of the show. And David Simon is a gentleman who had a great series on HBO called The Wire. And he approached me because he said, you're a very unique individual in that you can come to New York and play straight ahead jazz, and you come to New Orleans and play all the different styles, and you're also a big chief of the culture of New Orleans. So you're tied into everything, and I can tell a lot of stories through some of the things that you've done. So he hired me as a consultant. And he actually had a role for me as an actor, but I turned it down, and I said, if you'd let me just come on and play sometimes, play some modern jazz, I would be happy. So I turned down the role to be able to put some modern jazz in there and play some of my songs. And he's a great guy. He let me do that. I'm thankful for that. But the series is also great for the music of New Orleans, and that we're getting such a big audience. And it's reaching millions of people, and it's about what happened in New Orleans after Katrina. And another great aspect of the show is that this is one of the first times on television or in a Hollywood film that the musicians who actually play the style of music that they're portraying on TV get to play it. They usually get some studio musicians or hire someone to arrange for some guys who can sort of get the sound, but not the feeling and of the authentic, real sound. So David has really given that some, as the hip hoppers say, some shine. So I feel very fortunate to be a part of that, and very fortunate to have some of my music there. And for me, he's a genius. The way he can look at all the different stories and tell every side of it in a drama, and it's a scripted drama. It's not a documentary. It's scripted, so they're taking all of these different elements and creating a drama, a fictional drama based on reality that feels real.
Another one of the main characters is a native of New Orleans, Wendell Pierce. There seems to be some serious authenticity to not only his role, but just the elements of him being that struggling trumpet player.
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing because he looks so credible when he's playing the trombone, but he's not a trombonist, and maybe he will be afterwards. Maybe he'll practice. And, of course he knows New Orleans because he was born and raised there, so it's perfect. He's a perfect person to play that role, and he's the lead character in the show, and he's doing a great job. I think he was the one who told David Simon about me, so I'm very happy about Wendell.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace. I'd like to personally thank Donald Harrison, as well as Billy Cobham and Ron Carter for their time, as well as the staff and management at the Blue Note for their hospitality. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Until next time, peace.